Michael J. Vanecek here, coming with a fresh new idea for a fictional video blog. Imagine, if you will, a time in a distant future deep in space. You are a junior engineer tasked with mundane repair jobs on a colony ship. The massive ship has just left Earth orbit and is about to depart our solar system. While the passengers are slumbering in stasis, and the on-duty crew are busy with their jobs, you are sitting in your modest stateroom trying to get the captain's soccer ball-sized personal assistant droid to work. Suddenly, the lights go out. Your only illumination are the emergency glow panels on the door. You notice that the shield hatch is closed on your window, which is strange because before the lights went out, you were enjoying the view of Saturn going by. Your door will not open. Your holographic computer screens will not appear. You get no response to your communication attempts. You are effectively isolated. The only things that work are emergency ventilation, water, and basic rations. Over the course of what must be months, you manage to get power mostly working in your room. No computer yet, however. No contact with anyone outside your room. But your biggest achievement to date is restoring function to the rangefinder camera on one of the droids you have been repairing. It's only 2D video, but it's sufficient. The droid can broadcast. You have no idea if anybody is getting that broadcast, but you decide to try anyway. Your initial broadcast did not result in a rescue, so you decide to continue daily, keeping a video log of your experience, in hopes that someone will stumble across the broadcast and rescue you. This project is still largely in the idea stage. I will play the role of the junior engineer. I will construct a green set with blocked-in components of the room, which will be digitally recreated during post-processing. Let's take a tour of the basic shell of the room, which I have quickly prototyped to get a better visual idea of what I wish to create. In this video, I've done an in-window rendering of a perspective from the door into the room. Everything is just basically blocked in. There's no details yet, no materials, just basic placeholder just to get the render so I can see just how the lighting is going to look and how the shapes work together. The bunk is this back here where I'll be sleeping. I'll have shelves and cabinets right here where I can have stored clothing and stuff like that. The window is this rectangular object right here, and of course you can see the shield hatch, which is closed. There is, if you can tell in this render, reflections from the glass that is in front of the shield hatch. To your left, up above, you got the overhead cabinets over the workbench and the desk. The desk itself will contain a sink, which I may have recessed or have a retractable sink. And on the right, I'll have cabinets or lockers that will slide out. Under the bed, I have more drawers. One will be the lavatory. The other two will be for storage. So it's a real basic room. It's only 7 feet wide and 12 feet long. A little over 7 feet wide and a little less than 12 feet long. Let me clear this render out so I can rotate it around. Up above, let's see, let's click on here. Up above, this is a laser shower doohickey thingamajiggy, and I'll have markings on the floor to indicate where to stand while you're taking your laser shower. I put a model of a espresso maker that I had created years ago here, just to kind of get a size reference, and plus it's kind of neat looking. I may keep it. Here's the door, big old thick, heavy, armored shielded door. And of course you have another perspective of your closets here and your cabinets here. Like I said, this is all just basically blocked in. When I start adding detail or greeble, there'll be all sorts of technological components up here above the bed, probably recessed into the cabinets. The floor itself will have removable panels and have electrical, technological components there as well. I haven't decided yet on just what the overall materials motif is going to be. I'm kind of leaning towards the NASA look, just because it's a common sense look. You want a kind of a bright material on your surfaces when you're in a location where you want to maximize your light source and light reflectivity. A lot of the science fiction rooms are darker. Which just kind of creates a depressing atmosphere. I mean, it's an interesting look too. I may emulate part of it. I like this particular screenshot here because it's got a picture of a planet outside the portal, which kind of helps give me a visual idea of what I can create when I start working on the view outside the window. This is an inspiring image. The model is actually available in DAZ Studio. Unfortunately, the dimensions did not match what I need, which is roughly an 8-foot by 12-foot room. But I was able to kind of, borrow some of the concepts. I like this bunk. I like these shelves and stuff. I'm not gonna exactly replicate it, of course. I may not have comforter half pulled onto the floor. Maybe a little bit neater, maybe even more messier. I kind of like how the floor looks here. I may have similar indicators on the floor of where to stand for certain things. And of course, here's some more technological greeble that kind of like as well. Let's see, as far as an example of a hatch that's open on the floor, I kind of like this. Kind of gives you more dimension to the room. There's something outside the room. It's not just a hallway here, or in my case, a room. So I kind of like that. That's what inspired me about this image. Other images that inspired me. I love the materials on this particular project here. It's kind of a retro material. It's a retro metallic material. Kind of reminds me of the old stoves and the old refrigerators from the 50s and 60s. And I think it looks really good, especially in combination with the chrome. So I'm kind of toying with maybe emulating some of that in my quaint little room. Other than that, that's kind of what most of the inspirations gave me. I'm still leaning towards more of a white material overall, with embellishments, black and blue and stuff like that within, and of course technological greeble, maybe some metallics. Now I like this particular image here. It's an image of the CERN super collider. It's a massive image, but kind of reminds me of what part of the drive system of the colony ship could look like. So I may use this as inspiration when I start designing the rest of the ship. Now the advantage of doing a video log solely within a room where the protagonist is more or less trapped is the set will be easy to make. It's just going to be a shed. I'm going to block in all the components within the shed and paint them green so that when I interact with the components and I transfer it into the digital room, it will be accurate. It will look like I'm actually sitting on the bed or actually sitting at the desk, even picking up objects. I'll have a soccer ball size drawer, maybe just a soccer ball that's painted green, and within the actual image, it'll look like I'm picking up that little droid. And I'll be using my cell phone camera, at least to begin with, but it's a decent camera, and it's also fairly appropriate because even though it's not a professional quality camera, the objective here is to make it look like I'm using a camera off of a robot rather than a professional, video camera setup. I'm stuck in this room. The only way I can communicate with the outside world is with a rangefinder camera, not even a 3D holographic camera, just a 2D rangefinder camera, which is not the best quality camera, but it'll still be a nice quality. It'll be 1080p and be a fairly fine quality video in its own. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I've kind of blocked it in, getting some ideas about what kind of greeble I want to put, how the materials, and I'll experiment with that. This project is not a quickie. I mean, this prototype went together pretty rapidly, but adding the details and the materials and stuff like that will take some time, especially when I'm doing it with the idea that I have to recreate this even in block form physically. So I have to be very mindful of what I make and if I'm able to actually do it. Now the stuff that's up out of my reach, I can just go crazy with, because I'm not gonna recreate that in the shed, because I can't reach it anyway. The only things I really need to recreate in the shed are the items that I will physically interact with. If I lean against this cabinet here in the shed, it'll be a basic green cabinet, but it needs to look like when I'm bring my video into this 3D set that I'm actually leaning against a 3D representation of that cabinet. And it's got to look realistic. So my goal is photorealism and even meshing of the video with the 3D environment. So that's going to be kind of fun. The video logs will only be about 10 minutes long, if that. Kind of my own little YouTube TV show with a very limited set. But as funds increase, if funds increase, one of the advantages of this format is one of these days I'll get this door open, and that door will lead into a corridor, and I can recreate that corridor in 3D and also build the set and interact with maybe other rooms or other the engineering section, or just actually, I mean, the universe is wide open as far as this is concerned. So right now I'm the only character, only actor, but as funds become available, that can change. So it's a project that can grow, that I hope grows. And if it doesn't, it's just a fun little project that'll be educational for me in camera mapping and integrating real video with a digital environment. So if you like what you see, please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link is below the video if you're viewing this from YouTube. Every dollar is exceedingly appreciated, and will go to help with furthering these projects. So this is what I do. This is what I love to do. I love creating stuff, and hopefully what I create pleases you as well. Thank you very much for your time.